third year, and we're very excited to have brands like Machu Picchu Energy and many others today that not only do we have great discount codes, but also really the opportunity to learn about some of the newer products that we're seeing in the marketplace. And here's Daniel with us, who I met in Miami, and I was very impressed with what he's doing. Daniel, thank you so much for joining us. Can you tell us a little bit about the inspiration behind the brand?
Thank you. Yeah, thank you for having me. So the founder story goes back about a year and a half ago. So I met Bernardo Paiva, who is the founder of Machu Picchu Energy, and was lucky for him to bring me on kind of day zero to get to work on brand. But for him, he used to be the global chief sales officer for Anheuser-Busch InBev and CEO of Ambev in Brazil, and left that business. And then, I think he took a couple years during the pandemic and also in kind of thought about what he wanted to do with, I would say, the second phase of his career. And two of his main passions are the outdoors. So he's a big time surfer. He grew up in Rio, and just really believes in connecting with nature and, as a way to restore your mental balance. And then also doing good, helping kids. So he also had the chance to work with one of the leading NGOs in Brazil that operates within the favelas, the urban slums of Brazil, to try to uplift the residents there. And so he, is especially passionate about helping kids. And he thought, I want to come back and do something in the beverage space, which is what he knows, that could do both of those two things. And looking around, the energy set is pretty interesting right now. It's growing like crazy. So depending on when you look at the data, you might see 25, 30% year over year growth, which, having been in a lot of different parts of food and beverage for a while, is just one of the craziest things to see. Why do we want so much energy? I don't know. I think, especially the last couple of years, like inside during the pandemic, people stressed out. Maybe they're taking care of their kids also. I mean, we're stressed out. We're working more. People are just, and, I think just people are looking for more convenient energy options. So the category is growing really fast, but traditionally the quality of the liquids has been pretty low, very artificial ingredients, artificial tasting, artificial ingredients like flavors and colors. The caffeine also is synthetic that comes in it. And really just saw the opportunity then to bring this approach. What he wanted to do was inspire people to go outdoors, also to do good, helping kids in the energy set, and saw the opportunity to take the craft approach to this category. So they had seen that a lot, obviously, at Anheuser-Busch, the rise of craft beer, where basically, it's less of like coming in with a hard kombucha and converting consumers over to a new kind of alternative that's out there, but rather just, hey, here's the thing that you love and you're used to. We're going to use better ingredients, make it better. So we took the craft approach to energy drinks. They're not going to be an unfamiliar flavor. They're going to taste like the stuff that's out there, but better. So because we use organic ingredients, everything in there, just really high quality. They taste amazing. They're the highest quality stuff. They use natural caffeine that comes from green coffee, which gives you an overall better energy experience. So that's the target that we started with all those years ago. And then I think, or a year and a half ago. And then I think, the other main component of the brand is we're a socially conscious brand. So we really try to fulfill the do good promise of helping kids. And happy to talk a lot more about our initiatives, but both in Latin America and in the US, we are spending a ton of our time really trying to make a difference and help give kids opportunities in underserved communities.
That's fantastic. And just this idea that you've got a mission-driven, kind of better for you energy drink, I mean, all wrapped into one is pretty incredible. Can you talk about your launch and kind of what the reception has been so far?
Definitely. So we started shipping product maybe 4 or 5 months ago. I don't know, time moves fast when you're in a startup. And the launch has been amazing. So we are really lucky to have some great launch partners that, as soon as they tried it and understood the brand and our vision, signed on with us. So places like Erewhon out here in LA, Central Market in Texas, GoPuff, which is our exclusive cloud retail partner. Those are some of the people who just signed on with us from day one and have been huge advocates for us, really helped us out. And then maybe one of the more really exciting recent developments is our first purchase orders just hit Sprouts. So I had
Nice.
the distinct pleasure of going into a Sprouts this weekend, the one right here close to me, in Venice, and just to see all of our products there and their big, beautiful innovation center display. So that's in 380 stores nationwide.
Wow.
So we're moving pretty fast, I think. And I just was at a couple trade shows in the last couple weeks. The wonderful thing is I think when you put this much care into the liquids, it just converts in the taste. This thing tastes good because of, we were very lucky to have on our board one of the co-founders. He used to be the head of innovation at AB InBev globally. He's launched 1,200 products. He's a scientist. Worked so closely with him and our organic flavor technology partners to make this thing the absolute best thing on the market. So I'm biased. I drink it every day, though. I mean, many of them, and I think, when we do demos, it's pretty amazing because we just get nothing but overwhelmingly positive feedback. And for energy drinkers, love it, and they understand. So the blue one that's behind me, it tastes a lot like the conventional energy drinks that are out there, but just better. So that's kind of where we started. Is first of all, we can definitely do a much better version of that. So when I was a kid, we didn't really have energy drinks in a meaningful way. Maybe they had just come into existence, but nobody really knew what they were or what an energy drink was supposed to taste like. And then they sort of created that taste, right? And then over the years, I think they just forgot to make it any better. And so not a lot of industries where you can get away with V1 of something for a couple different decades and still be the market leader, but this has been one. And so we just started by making a much better version of the traditional energy taste that's out there. We call that classic. It's made with organic cane sugar, and we have a pineapple mango one that you can see, the yellow one behind me, as well. And then because we also know a lot of people like zero sugar options, we have made some completely delicious organic zero sugar options as well. We've got ginger peach, it's amazing. You have to check the aroma of it also. It's so well balanced and delicious. Really just right down the middle in between ginger and peach, and then a really delicious pineapple blueberry as well.
Would you say that as you look at your priorities for the next 12 months, is it more about gaining additional distribution or creating, extending the product line, a bit of both? What do you see?
Yeah, it's a good time to start thinking about that as we get towards the end of the year. I would say, on distribution, we're going to be scaling pretty rapidly. So very lucky that we've gotten a number of big yeses over the last couple months. First year, I think, is all about getting into some of those key early retailers, proving your case, figuring out your marketing vehicles. We figured out, for example, that demos work the best for us where you're in the store sampling product for consumers, because people love it. And I was saying not just energy drinkers, but even, if there's like an older gentleman or woman coming by and I'm like, oh, these are organic energy drinks, and they crinkle their nose to energy drinks. I'm like, it's made with organic green coffee. This is like as much energy as a strong cup of coffee. Give it a taste. They'll almost always love it, especially, the ginger peach, something like that. If it's an older consumer who isn't familiar with energy drinks, I love to introduce into the set that way. And they almost always end up buying it. So over 50% of people, if they taste it, will buy it. And usually they'll buy a couple. So for us, that's the linchpin to our strategy, because I just haven't seen numbers like that off demos before. So we're getting a lot of retailer yeses, which means we're going to rapidly expand our retail distribution. And so, I think the focus for me then is we need to make sure we're doing well, that we're being a good partner to those stores, that we have the demos set up to do well there. And, obviously just in the beverage or any kind of physical product industry, the stuff has to get there, right? We got to make sure we order the right amount of ingredients, and then we make them on the right day. They're in the warehouse in the right place when they're supposed to. They get on the right trucks. We don't control all of this stuff too, but we will be on the phone just double checking everywhere. So it's a heartache just making sure all of these things that, when we're 10 years from now, just kind of happen automatically. But right now, just being 1,000,000% certain that it's going to happen the right way. And then I think the other part that is going to be a big focus for me, we're really excited about the do good side and how quickly that's scaling as well. We're equally ambitious about scaling our programs, helping kids. And so the flagship thing that we developed this year. So in Latin America, what we do is we work directly with NGOs in Rio and also in Lima. These are NGOs that operate in community centers, giving kids a safe space in the urban slum, gives them community, and then it also gives them access to outdoor opportunities, specifically surf lessons. So giving kids a way to sublimate their energy, use it in a good way, and just really hoping for the best for them, and working with really tremendous NGO partners, Favela Hajical in Rio, and in Peru, Alto Peru, just both really well-respected organizations that we work with closely. Here in the US, the thing that's super fun for me is, so we developed a program where we actually teach kids in underserved public schools how to make their own beverage company. So it's an
that's so cool.
It's so fun. And so we piloted it in Miami, working with Miami Public Schools. So I was going into a school there and teaching the kids over 8 sessions how you pick a mission that you want your company to support, because it's all about being a socially conscious entrepreneur, picking a mission that's important to you. And then we would go in and have them come up with their company name. So we'd have a branding agency teach them how to do that based off, who your target customer is, and, what kind of a drink you think you're going to make. And then actually doing liquid formulation. So our innovation lead would teach them how to taste, which she taught me also. It's very fun. These are the same steps that we followed when we were creating our company. And so then they create the beverage, which they're so engaged, the kids, when they do it. I wish I had had something like this. And, actually that was kind of the impetus for it, is because when I was in 6th grade, somebody's dad did a stock market simulator for us. And I was like, well, that's it. I want to do business. And I went out and got internships, starting at age 14. So just giving them that excitement. So they create the liquids, they taste with each other and argue about which is the best. And they're working in teams. They just get randomly assigned. They don't work with their friends. We just pair them up because you don't get to pick your work colleagues either usually. So just kind of getting them ready for the workplace. And then they come up with marketing strategies and check out price points, run the finances, all of that kind of stuff. And they draw out the designs for the cans. And then at the end, they pitch their idea to a VC. So they get public speaking practice. And so the pilot was amazing. We did it over 2 semesters in Miami, had incredible results. We were looking at things like actually surveying on, how likely were they to go to college? How likely were they to check for an internship over the summer? How confident were they that they could have a career that they enjoyed? Those kind of metrics. And we had really big impacts on them. We got the interest of a national NGO that's called NAF. NAF is one of the leading education NGOs in the country. So they have NAF academies inside of underserved public schools in 35 states. So it just so happened that the CEO is a friend of mine who was in Miami at the time and came in to be a guest judge for the kids' final presentations, and looked at this program and just thought, this is one of the most innovative entrepreneurship simulators that I can think of. We do want to prepare kids to have great careers, and what better than a program that's taught by actual beverage entrepreneurs to this aim that gives them really like a hands-on experience where you demystify entrepreneurship, because not that they're all going to become beverage entrepreneurs, but they're going to just understand the steps are the same, like coming up with a product, coming up with marketing strategy, right? And then at the end, they all just understand what it is. And even if they're not going to go and launch a competitor to us in the beverage category, at least they're just hopefully getting really excited about their careers, motivated to just get after it, whatever they're going to do that summer. Just feel really positive about having a career that they like. So we're excited to then launch nationally with them by the end of this year. So tomorrow I'll be going and teaching another in-person one here in Compton. And then we'll be launching the fully digital version taught by video. It'll be facilitated by teachers in all of the schools by the end of this year. So that's a lot of work for us, but I think, probably the reason why I love working on Machu Picchu the most is that it's not just something that I've gotten to do stuff like that at other companies where I had to kind of beg and plead to get to do it in my spare time, like promising them that my work wouldn't suffer. Here, that's why we have this company. That's why we show up to work, is to be able to do that. That's why it's written on our can. It says feel good, do good. So we'll be doing a lot of good over the next year as we start scaling this program with the help of our partners.
I have 2 questions for you. So what I always think is the most amazing when you're mentoring is there's that point, and I can always pinpoint it, where there ends up being this like reverse mentorship. And I'm like, I'm now learning, right? Like I've kind of given them everything, right? And then you're like really kind of reaping these intangible rewards in some case, but it can also be, and in your, kind of example, right? They also understand the industry. Can you talk about if there's been any, you don't need to mention names, but just any kind of experiences like that, or what has been some of, maybe at least to date, some of the kind of, unplanned benefits of doing this?
The learnings. I mean, I don't know if you're asking if I'm taking their ideas and trying to launch them, but I'm not. They
No,
come out.
no,
Just kidding. No, they come up.
more
No, but yeah,
like
just
the inspiration,
I know
right?
what no, I know what
Yeah.
you mean. I'm just making a joke. But they do come up with really good ideas. We're like, wow, I think that would sell in the market. But yeah, I mean, I think I've always felt that way, especially just about teaching. I've always really enjoyed sharing whatever I'm learning, even in, my first job out of college, which was in finance. Like I didn't know anything about it, but after 3 months, I started a program like this, a seminar series to teach. And I think you learn a lot by teaching, because for anybody who really is an expert should be able to teach it to somebody who has absolutely no knowledge, right? That's when you really know what you're talking about, is that you can just talk to somebody as if they are a 10th or 11th grader and really explain it. And so, I think I definitely learn a lot by taking them through this process, and it's a creative and an engaging process, and it's really fun for me. And I think also, I mean, maybe if I've had a hard week figuring out some of these ops challenges or something, going in there and then just seeing their excitement about the industry and going through these steps, it reminds you why you love it so much, why you're so lucky to be able to do it. And then I think I just have really enjoyed a lot of the connections that it's facilitated as well, because people get so excited about this. When I share it with my friends who are in the beverage and food space, everybody is just like, what? Like, how can I come in and teach kids? Everybody wants to. People have really personal experiences that they share, where maybe they actually, when they were young, got this kind of an opportunity and it helped them get to where they are. And so people get super excited about it. Even I have a video that I can share with the kids from Mark Cuban, because I told him about the program and he just right away sent back a video to encourage the kids. So the program is called Bev Launch, and it's a pretty funny video that he recorded for them saying, good luck with your Bev Launch projects. I hope one of you will become really successful and hopefully come and be so successful that you save me and take Mr. Wonderful's place so I don't have to have him on here anymore. It's very funny how he did it. So it's just such an easy way to connect with people, because there are a lot of great causes out there. And I hope even increasingly more businesses that are centering around partnerships that they have around missions. But the one around helping kids is universal. I mean, pretty much everybody was a kid or has a kid, and just, yeah, like we can agree, helping kids, giving kids opportunities. And it's just really fun to do on top of all of that. And yeah.
Well, it's just completely practical as well. I mean, you're teaching them life skills. And I was like, you're probably finding a few interns along the way, but people you're going to stay in touch with. And if you also kind of drive excitement around your industry, right? It starts to kind of not only enlarge the size of the industry, but you're starting to bring in much higher quality talent, because they're really going to study this when they feel that they've already got kind of, that first step. I think it's really impressive what you guys are doing.
Yeah, it could be. I mean, yeah, hopefully it gets to the point where we can pull in interns through this kind of a program. And I think, part of it is also just the overall excitement around food and beverage in general. When you look at the success of programs like Shark Tank, people are interested. I always tell people, like, food is the new tech. I graduated from business school in 2009, and that was just kind of the beginning of when people were starting to think more about startups. Like even my friends who, instead of going into banking or consulting, went to Google. It was like, oh, that's risky. That guy, all right, he's got a high tolerance for risk. But now when I go back, a lot of the students are starting food and beverage companies. I was just on a panel at Wharton, my alma mater, and there were a bunch of people there who had ideas for new food. I love to see people who have that passion for improving the food system, because it needs a lot of it. There's still too much share of the overall industry that's held by companies that have very poor quality food products and don't work on making them any better. And so I'm really excited to see that. And then, yeah, I mean, everybody has at one point or another thought of a food or beverage product that they could launch. I don't know if Deborah, you have one that you've thought about, like you have your grandmother's, sauce recipe or something. You're like, this could be a business, but most people can relate to that.
Absolutely. I think it was funny actually. During the heart of the lockdown, my brother actually, he called me, he's like, I'm canning. I'm like, canning what? He's like, I have all these peaches and they're going to go bad. So he's like, I made all this jam. And I'm like, send me a few of them. And they were amazing. And I said to him, I'm like, we should do this, right? This is something we could do together. How fun is this, right? It's going back to very healthy and just like a new approach. And so, yeah, there's a whole inspiration and this heritage. And when it comes to food and beverage, right, there really is, right, it talks to everyone. And I think that's also, you really bring people together. So I think that's great. So the most important, kind of conclusion here is around how can people buy your product? And can you tell everyone about the discount code for 1010 today?
Yes, I can. So, in terms of how to buy the product, so it's available on Amazon. That's a great place to get it if you're used to buying it there. And then you can also get it on our website, which is http:// so you can kind of see how it's written here. Just MachuPicchu.energy. There's no .com on it. And then the code is festival15 to get a discount off there, which we really appreciate. And I just want to highlight that because we are a socially conscious brand, so we have a number of initiatives that are very charitable, so that you're basically supporting us to do those charitable initiatives when you buy from us. So I mentioned already the Do Good initiatives that we have helping kids in Latin America and also in the US. And then one that I didn't get a chance to mention so far is, so the name of the company being Machu Picchu, we do want to inspire people to go outdoors and just really hold Machu Picchu itself in really high regard, being maybe perhaps the most iconic outdoor site of the entire Americas. And so we have a partnership with UNESCO in Peru. So Machu Picchu being an UNESCO World Heritage Site, which is protected by UNESCO. So we formed a partnership with them. So it's called the 2030 Pacto Por La Cultura Cultural Pact, and it allows us then, through donating revenues, to help them support Machu Picchu itself, which has been decimated by a big loss in tourism dollars. But also those tourism dollars for Machu Picchu tourists go to fund a lot of cultural initiatives in Peru. So working through UNESCO, that works very closely with the Minister of Culture, we're able to support them and their work at Machu Picchu and cultural infrastructure in Peru. So we're really proud of that. So when you buy a can from us, basically that's where all of the money is going to. So we have a pledge that is at least 1% of net revenue goes towards all of these initiatives. In these early days, it's a lot more than that, just because we're very eager and excited about all the different initiatives that we're supporting here. But hopefully you guys can feel really good about that. And then just remember to put Machu Picchu itself back up on your bucket list for places to travel if you're traveling now, or if you're going to be traveling again in the future. It's just a really wonderful place with very special energy.
As someone who's been there, I think you said it incredibly well. So I think the main message is it tastes good, you feel good, and you're doing good by joining this kind of mission. Thank you so much. This was really the inspiration we needed, like this time of day, as our energy. I'm actually like, right as we get off, I already know which one I'm going to go order. And so thank you so much. And we look forward to supporting your success.
All right. Thank you so much for the time. I really appreciate it.
Thanks. Take care. Bye-bye.